not to be confused with the US-based Voith Sporting Goods Company. The Voith GmbH, which is headquartered in Germany, is a family-run multinational corporation in the mechanical engineering sector with worldwide operations. The Voith corporate group is led by the Voith GmbH headquarters in Heidenheim, located in the German state of Baden-Württemberg. Here, the headquarters serves as a management holding, with the executive board establishing general business strategies, taking overall responsibility for the group's operations, and providing support to the group unregistered trademark S affiliate companies. The Voith GmbH has around 39,302 employees worldwide, with 14,434 working in Germany. For the 2013/14 business year, the consolidated group had revenues of $5.34 billion, profits of $41 million and a new order volume of $5.58 billion. Company history. Beginnings. The Voith GmbH began as a small craftsman's workshop in the former Kingdom of Württemberg. In 1825, Johann Mach the Currenzius Voith took over this workshop from his father Johannes, which employed 5 craftsmen, and made tooling and spare parts for local mills. The same site used by the original workshop is now the home of the Voith GmbH headquarters. In the mid-19th century, Johann Mach the Currenzius Voith began developing machinery for spinning mills, wool reprocessing and printing presses. In 1848, he began working with the Heidenheim paper producer Heinrich Voelter, with a common goal of mass-producing paper. At that time, series production of paper had failed due to the lack of rag fiber which was used as the raw material. Wood, however, being a plentiful renewable resource, was seen as an alternative. The very first patent for producing paper from wood pulp was awarded to Heinrich Voelter and Friedrich Gottlob Keller in 1846. Johann Mach the Currenzius Voith studied that patent, and then dramatically improved Keller unregistered trademark S design. As a result, the first raffineur was born in 1859, a machine that significantly refined raw wood pulp and therefore greatly improved the quality of paper. Turbine production. In 1867, Johann Mach the Currenzius Voith transferred control of the company to his son Friedrich, which had 30 employees. In that same year, Friedrich Voith officially registered the company in the local trading register for the first time under the name, Maschinenfabrik JM Voith. In 1869, Voith received his first patent for a wood grinder. This wood grinder was a major step forward for paper mills, allowing them to use economical, renewable cellulose fiber, while improving paper quality, and setting the cornerstone for modern newspaper publishing. In 1881, Voith delivered the first complete paper-making machine to Rathill Huber, Bezer and C. in Gemrheim, Germany. Voith's invention had opened an entirely new market, and a surge in new orders helped his company to rapidly expand. By the mid-1890s, Voith machines were available for every stage of the paper-making process. During the same time frame, Voith began working on turbines. By 1879, the first Voith turbine regulator had been built, based on the designs from Adolphe, and it proved to be a decisive step for the generation of electricity through the force of water. By 1890, Voith had even begun deliveries of a high-pressure open-jet turbine. And in the same year, Friedrich Voith was named by King Karl I of Württemberg to join his Council of Commercial Advisors in recognition of his successful business achievements. At the company's 25th anniversary in 1892, 330 people were employed by Voith, and it was one of the largest companies in the Kingdom of Württemberg. The first Voith subsidiary, located in St. Paul LTEN, Austria, was founded in 1903, and in that same year, Voith received the largest order in its history. Voith was to build the world's largest water turbines, having 12,000 horsepower, for the Robert Moses Niagara Hydroelectric Power Station. Voith Drive Technology. In 1911, Voith built the fastest and widest machine of its time for reel-fed printing papers, at its plant in St. Paul LTEN, Austria. Shortly thereafter in 1913, Friedrich Voith died, and left behind a company with 3,000 employees, and a leading position in the paper, as well as energy markets. His three sons then shared the company's management responsibilities. Wolfer took charge of the St. Paul Paragraph LTEN plant, Hermann managed the commercial affairs in the main facility in Heidenheim, and Hans headed the technical department. After World War I, the three brothers decided to expand the company and to concentrate on drive technologies. By 1922, Voith had begun building transmission gear assemblies, based on its fluid dynamics know-how gained from previous turbine projects. This turned out to be yet another breakthrough, which was achieved with the aid of Hermann Farr Paragraph-Tinger, and his research on hydrodynamic energy transfers. In that same year, the first Kaplan turbine was produced by Voith, being named for its inventor Victor Kaplan. By 1929, the first Voith hydrodynamic couplings based on the Farr Paragraph-Tinger principle were in use at the Herdecke pumped storage hydropower station. Thereafter, similar transmissions for road and rail vehicles were developed. At the same time, the company became known for the hydrodynamic drives and transmissions that it supplied to industrial production facilities. In addition, Voith launched a new product, the Voith Schneider propeller for commercial vessels. This new marine drive could significantly improve the maneuverability of a ship, being invented by the Vienna engineer Ernst Schneider, and enhanced by Voith. After successful sea trials on the test boat Torquillo, in 1937, the first Voith Schneider propellers were put into operation in the narrow canals of Venice, Italy. During the 1937 World Fair in Paris, Voith was awarded the grand prize €3 €3 for its exhibition of Voith Schneider propellers and Voith turbo transmissions. A year later, two of Paris firefighting boats started operating with the new VSP system. Following the death of Hermann Voith, Hans Voith led the company in 1942. Later on April 24, 1945, when American troops occupied Heidenheim, it was Hans Voith who personally surrendered the city to the U.S. Army. During World War II, 600 of the company's 4,000 employees had either been killed or were missing. Internationalization. Following World War II, Hans Voith and Hugo Rupf served as executive board chairman. The company's first post-war delivery was a Voith turbine for Norway in 1947. In 1949, 8 Voith Schneider propellers went to the United Africa Company, 46 Voith turbo transmissions were shipped to Brazil, and in 1951, a new paper-making machine was delivered to the Netherlands. At the same time, Voith released its new triple converter transmission for motorized railcars, and its DIWA bus transmissions. In 1953, Voith produced Europe's fastest newsprint paper machine for the Feldmar 1/4 AG, running at speeds of 600 meters per minute, and producing up to 200 tons of newsprint each day. At the 1958 World's Fair in Brussels, Voith was awarded a gold medal for developing the first turbo transmission for the diesel-hydraulic locomotives of the Deutsche Bundesbahn. Throughout the 1960s, Voith expanded internationally. In 1962, Voith participated on Europe's largest pumped storage hydroelectric power station, the Vanden Pumped Storage Plant, in Vanden, Luxembourg, by supplying 2 spiral turbines, 4 storage pumps, and 2 pump turbines. For years later, Voith set another record by delivering the widest newsprint machine in the world to Sweden. Between 1962 and 1966, the company also made major investments in the Indian company Utkal Machinery Limited, and the Spanish company Torles de Tolosa. Voith also took over the tooling and paper machine manufacturer Dar Paragraph RRIES, as well as founding new sales offices in Great Britain and France. In addition, a new subsidiary was founded in Brazil in 1964, the Voith SA in São Paulo. In the 1970s, Voith developed its Centromatic clutch, and the O130 retarder for buses and utility vehicles. In the USA, Voith founded a subsidiary in Appleton, Wisconsin in 1974, and also became the major shareholder of Modern Machines in Portland, Oregon. 2 years later, Voith founded its first Japanese subsidiary. Following the death of Hans Voith, Hugo Rupf became the company's managing director in 1971, and in 1973, He became the chairman of the board of directors. Following the acquisition of Appleton Mills, USA in 1983, Vuitton entered the market for paper machine clothing. In addition, Vuitton took over the hydropower operations of the U.S. market leader Allis-Chalmers in York, Pennsylvania. Within a few years, Vuitton expanded its U.S. workforce from 200 to 1,300. In 1985, Vuitton also entered India, establishing a production plant in Hyderabad. In the 1990s, Vuitton began to expand its operations in the Far East, concentrating on China. In 1994, Vuitton supplied the turbines for the world's largest pumped storage hydroelectric power station at Gwangju 2. Also, 2 years later, Vuitton received the contract to build the world's largest fine paper machine in Dagang. In Kunshan and Liaoyang, China, the company also opened new production plants in 1996. Under the leadership of Michael Rogoski, who had been Vuitton's spokesman since 1986, the company was reorganized, and it became a management holding, with independently operating commercial sectors. In the following years, Vuitton's technical masterpieces were the introduction of the A115 integrated retarder in 1988, and the commissioning of the largest European dunking facility in Skonga in 1989. In 1994, Vuitton and a Swiss company, Sulzer, merged their technical paper production activities, and in 1999 Vuitton acquired the technical paper-making operations of the British company, Sherpa, thereby became the leader in machine clothing technologies. The next year, the Vuitton Siemens hydropower generation was founded as a joint venture between the two international leaders in turbine and generator technologies. In 2000, Vuitton's leadership also changed hands, with Michael Rogoski handing over the company's operational responsibilities to Helmut Korman. Under his leadership, Vuitton has become a worldwide, family-run company, with orders totaling $4 billion, and a workforce of 34,000 people. A key development has been Vuitton's entry into the field of technical industrial service. By assuming the controlling interest in the DIW Deutsche Industrieertung AG, Stuttgart, the cornerstone was laid for the new commercial division, Vuitton Industrial Services. In past years, this division has seen considerable growth, and other acquisitions have also followed, including the IMO Har1 Corsair Group, the U.S. Premier Group, and Har-Paragraph RMANN Industrial Technologies. In May 2006, the new Vuitton Paper Technology Centre was opened in Heidenheim. In Scotland, Vuitton's subsidiary Wavegen introduced the first wave-driven generator that can supply electricity to a local power grid. On October 1, 2010, the holding company changed its legal form from Aktiengesellschaft to GmbH. Corporate organization: the Vuitton Group consists of 4 commercial sectors: Vuitton Hydro, Vuitton Industrial Services, Vuitton Paper, and Vuitton Turbo. Overall management of the group is provided by the Vuitton GmbH Executive Board, which serves as a management holding, being supported by a stockholder committee as well as a supervisory board. After buying out Premier Manufacturing Support Services, Vuitton has expanded into the U.S. auto manufacturing industry as a contractor to Toyota Motor Manufacturing. Vuitton Hydro Vuitton Hydro is a joint venture between Vuitton and Siemens, which is now a system supplier for hydropower stations. Currently, a third of the world Euro unregistered trademark S hydroelectric power is produced with turbines and generators from Vuitton Hydro, including major projects such as Niagara Falls, Itaipu, and Three Gorges Dam. Management: Vuitton Hydro GmbH and Company KG, Heidenheim, Germany. Divisions: large-scale projects, small hydro, control and automation technologies, integrated service, revenues, APRX. A 1.31 billion, employees, 5,219, products, comprehensive equipment for hydroelectric power stations, Francis turbine, Pelton turbine and Kaplan turbines, as well as pump turbines. Generators or generator motor units for all turbine types, sensor and diagnostic systems, frequency converters, safety systems, switching systems for all voltages and transformers. Automated operations and control systems for power stations, remote control stations, optimization and diagnostic systems. Consulting, engineering, assembly and commissioning. Servicing and modernization of existing hydroelectric power stations. Storage pumps, as well as radial, semi-axial and axial flow pumps. Vuith Industrial Services Vuith Industrial Services is a supplier of technical services covering industrial maintenance, technical cleaning, engineering, industrial assembly, facility management and process management. These services are provided through Vuith's subsidiary companies, the Premier Group, and Har-Paragraph RMANN Industrial Technologies. Management, Vuith Industrial Services Holding GmbH, Heidenheim, Germany. Divisions, Facility Service, Process Service, Revenues, APRX. A 1.17 billion, employees, 18,360, Facility Services, on-site facility management, technical cleaning and maintenance of production systems €1 for all major industrial sectors. Process Services, comprehensive production processing services tailored to individual industries, including production planning, engineering, assembly, maintenance and the modernization of machinery or production systems. Vuith Paper Vuith Paper is a supplier in the international paper industry, supporting all aspects of the paper-making process from fibers to end products. Vuith Paper's product portfolio includes machines for newsprint paper, protective and specialized papers as well as graphic papers, sanitary papers and paperboard. Worldwide, 1/3 of the global paper production is performed on Vuith Paper production systems. Management, Vuith Paper Holding GmbH & Company KG, Heidenheim, Germany. Divisions, Fiber and Environmental Solutions, Paper Machines, Fabric and Roll Systems, and Automation. Revenues, APRX. A 1.43 billion, employees, 8,419, products, Fiber and Environmental Solutions, Paper Machines, Process Solutions for the production of graphic papers, board and packaging papers, tissue, specialty papers, automation, complete systems for new and existing machines, as well as solutions for upgrades and rebuilds, fabric and roll systems. The Fabric and Roll Systems division provides forming press and dryer fabrics, as well as press sleeves, roll covers and coatings. Service for complex rolls, cylinders and components. On-site service. Measuring technology. Diagnostic solutions. And roll design and optimization. Vuith Turbo Vuith Turbo specializes in mechanical, hydrodynamic, electric and electronic drive systems, as well as braking systems. Worldwide, these systems are used in industrial plants, as well as in road and rail vehicles. In the field of turbo transmission, Vuith Turbo Transmissions is the world Euro-1 registered trademark S market leader. The Vuith Retarder is one of the best-known hydrodynamic braking systems and is found in many utility vehicles. In addition, other Vuith drive systems, such as the Vuith Schneider propeller, are used by marine vessels. Management, Vuith Turbo GmbH & Company KG, Heidenheim, Germany. Divisions, Industrial, Road, Rail, Marine, and Trading. Revenues, APRX. A 1.40 billion, employees, 6.275, products, industrial products, hydrodynamic couplings, adjustable hydrodynamic couplings, variable speed planetary gear Vulcan, torque converters, mechanical couplings, hydraulic systems and components, Herth couplings, high-duty universal shafts, safety couplings, highly flexible couplings, turbo gear units, actuators and control systems for steam and gas turbines. Road products, automatic transmissions for buses, hydrodynamic retarders and shock absorbers for buses and utility vehicles. Rail products, drive systems for rail vehicles such as turbo transmissions, bogie transmissions, anti-slip differentials, universal shafts, cooling systems, Scharfenberg couplings as well as bumpers and locomotive technologies. Marine products, Vuith Schneider propellers, Vuith water tractors, Voith cycloidal rudders, Voith turbo fins, and Voith water jets. In 2005 Voith Turbo started production of its Voith Maxima and Voith Gravita series of locomotives, transitioning from a component supplier to a full vehicle supplier. The Voith family. In 1825, Johann Mach the Currentsius Voith took over the machining workshop with 5 craftsmen from his father Johannes in Heidenheim, Germany, which today is still the site of Voith's headquarters. In the original workshop, tooling and spare parts were produced for local paper and textile mills. In the mid-19th century, Johann Mach the Currentsius Voith began developing spinning machines, wool reprocessing machines and printing presses. In 1848, he began working with the Heidenheim paper producer Heinrich Voelter, with a common goal of mass-producing paper via a new method using wood pulp processing. Here, Johann Mach the Currentsius Voith refined this new process, and in 1859 he created the first raffineur, a machine that refined the raw wood pulp and thereby significantly improved the quality of paper products. When his son Friedrich Voith eventually took over the company, it had 30 employees. Friedrich Voith designed and building his own version of a Voith wood grinder for the Eingen paper mill, and improving the design of the original raffineur. In 1869, he was awarded his first patent for this new design. The new pulp processing machine further enhanced the quality of paper, making large-scale production possible and laying the cornerstone for modern newspaper publishing. At about the same time, Friedrich Voith decided to begin working on water-driven turbines, and in 1870, the first Voith turbine was delivered. In 1873, the first Francis turbine was produced, and in the same year Friedrich Voith was awarded a Medal of Achievement for his innovations at the World Fair in Vienna. Thereafter, Voith decided to move beyond the production of individual components for paper machines. In 1881, he built a new machining plant, the Maschinenfabrik J.M. Voith, and he delivered the first complete paper-making machine to his customer Raetel Huber, Bezer and C. in Gemrenheim, Germany. By the end of the 19th century, Friedrich Voith was busy developing new business contacts in Europe and overseas. His company, now offered machinery covering the entire spectrum of paper production, and it was the market leader. In recognition of his accomplishments, in 1890, King Karl I of Wawon-Cauterottenburg selected Voith to join his economic council. Later in 1903, Friedrich Voith founded the first Voith subsidiary in St. Paul Paragraph Lten, Austria. At the time of Friedrich Voith's death in 1913, his production plants in Heidenheim and St. Paul Paragraph Lten employed over 3,000 people, including his 3 sons, Walther, Hermann and Hans, who also worked in different parts of the company. Following the death of Friedrich Voith, his sons Walther, Hermann and Hans Voith jointly managed the company. Walther Voith took charge of the St. Paul Paragraph Lten plant with 230 employees. Hermann Voith managed the overall commercial affairs from the Heidenheim factory, and Hans headed the technical department in Heidenheim. Together, they expanded the Campania Euro unregistered trademark S role in industrial drive technologies, and in 1929 Voith produced the first hydrodynamic coupling and transmission using the Fahr-Paragraph-Tinger principle. After the deaths of his older brothers, Hans Voith assumed sole ownership of the company. Following World War II, Hans Voith and Hugo Rupf, who served as executive board chairman, then launched the company into a new phase of growth. Under Hans Voith's leadership, the development and construction of paper-making machines reached a new record. Voith also began its international expansion, investments in other businesses were made, and some company takeovers occurred. A milestone during this period was the founding of the Voith S.A. in São Paulo, Brazil, in 1964. Shortly afterwards, Hans Voith died on January 7, 1971. Management. Chairman of the board since 2008 is Dr. Hubert Linhard. Supervisory board chairman is Dr. Manfred Bischoff. His assistant is Gerd Scheibel, assistant chairman and chairman of the Voith Employee Association, Heidenheim, Germany. Current corporate board of management See also, list of Voith transmissions, pulp and paper industry, Voith Schneider, a specialized marine propulsion system. References. External links: Vuith GmbH website.